It's got a lot of water in beer. Beer's like 95% water.
Yeah, I don't think it has the same effect, though.
Well, damn well should.
Oh, I agree. It should. I just don't think. I don't think it does.
All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 33, I believe, of the Life Short, Live Free podcast. I'm here with myself, your host, Sam.
I'm here with myself.
as well as Johnson.
I also love
to my left.
I also love the confidence. Episode 33, I think.
And Box over there on the other end of the table. I own Shyworks Cerakote. This podcast is sponsored by them. We are Iowa's customer preferred Cerakote applicator. Check us out at shyworks.com on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find us on Cerakote's website as well. And Box, he owns Ballistic Imagery. Go check them out at ballisticimagery.com, as well as Facebook and Instagram as well. And his new addition, Pornhub. You can go and check him out there as well.
That's not new.
Just switched it to a business account, however.
So how are you boys doing today?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It was my first day being back in the office for, like 3 months now. I've been working from home, so it's a little change of pace. And
you had to put on pants, actually?
Yeah. That's one thing that
What a pain in the ass.
I know. I will be the first to admit that I have thrown on athletic shorts every day.
I've been wearing board shorts for the last 4 days. So.
Yeah. So I did have to put a pair of actual pants on. I couldn't wear shorts, but it was funny after being home for 3 months and my first day back at the office, I sat there all day going, why am I here? I've been doing this from home for 3 months. Why did I have to drive here?
Yeah.
Been spoiled, I guess, but
pretty much. How about you, Box? How'd your Monday go?
It was different. I actually did something today, for once. I feel fine right now, but I think tomorrow I'm gonna be sore as a motherfucker because I haven't.
Physical labor.
I haven't been doing physical things in quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, my actual job was pretty slow for a long time, so that wasn't very demanding. But Now today we're tearing out a retaining wall, tearing down all those blocks, and then digging out the backfill behind it underneath a deck. So a couple tons of that. So I'm going to be feeling good tomorrow.
Shoulders and back are going to be screaming in the morning.
My back is a little sore, but it's not bad right now.
Yeah.
Well, I got fucking chiggers, apparently.
Yeah.
It's really uncomfortable in my shorts.
Yeah.
I don't know if you listeners have ever had chiggers before, but you get them from, I don't know, being in the grass or whatever, and they crawl up your pant leg, and basically they bite you around your waistband area, that sort of general vicinity. So it's not
region.
Like with mosquito bites, they don't really bother me. I mean, they itch a little bit, but if you don't touch them, they don't itch. That's just how they are.
You have a problem not touching your.
Well, it's not so. There's none. There's none on the the important areas, but they're just like you freaking my ass and the legs and the waistband, and you don't touch them, and they still freaking. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, it doesn't help that your clothes and stuff are rubbing against them.
No, maybe I should just go nudist for the next day or so. I had them.
You could wear a dress.
It's 2020. I can get away with it, I guess.
Put on a sundress and can you imagine customer walking in?
Sam standing there in a dress.
Sundress Sammy?
Oh,
no,
boy.
Not happening. But the last time I had him was, I don't know, 7th or 8th grade. And it was the day before school started that we got him. So the next day, the first day in school, you're sitting there trying not to itch. And it's just the most, they freaking suck. So not enjoyable. But did I mention this during the intro that this was Monday afternoon we were doing this?
No,
I don't think so.
I think they gathered that when I asked how your Mondays were, I guess. But so this past weekend,
I didn't gather that, and you asked me that question. So.
All right, well, if you guys aren't some OG listeners, the way this started off, we always went out and did range days, and we still try to do some sort of range day before every podcast.
We did gonna bring this up.
I did on Saturday. We went out and we got a.
Why would he not bring this up?
We got a. I got to do a shout out to Mike Worth. We got a dueling tree from one of our
nothing else though.
One of our fans. And I don't know if you know what a dueling tree is, but they're not exactly cheap. And he built one from scratch, and then obviously just bought the AR-500 steel for it. And he built a hell of a sturdy sumbitch, and just gave it to us because he knew we wanted one. So that was pretty freaking awesome.
That was absolutely incredible.
Mike, we're gonna give you a I don't know, some sort of gift box, maybe like bath bombs and I don't know
right.
New sheets or something.
A few essential oils,
something cute.
Now we'll get you something good. We got some good stuff coming up here before too long. Shirts and hats and shit.
Might get a little sneak peek at some of that stuff.
Yeah, but so anyway, Saturday we went out and we did a range day with that. We had the
all right. That's enough.
The dueling tree. The dueling tree.
Don't need to go any further.
The dueling tree was in the middle, and then we had 3 targets on each side. It staggered, farther and farther out. Anyways, we had races on them because that's kind of what a dueling tree is for.
Well, a couple of us were just practicing and lollygagging around.
Yeah. Right. Anyways,
it was a race? I had no idea.
Guys, you notice these two really, really don't want to talk about how bad Sam absolutely dominated them on this latest range day. He could not be beat. And they were both, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, how mutsy they were, they were probably about in 10.4. I mean, they were pretty irritated that old Sambo rang their bells.
It was pretty frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't so much that you were winning; it was that I wasn't winning.
Oh, it was definitely that Sam was winning for me.
I mean, that played a part. But
it was. Yeah.
You want to tell them what you did, Johnson?
It was more so the fact of I couldn't win,
Yeah, that's
it's not like there was some going back and forth. There wasn't any back and forth of who was winning and stuff. It was just like, well, Sam just wins every time, and the competitive edge.
It's frustrating because I have apparently gained some confidence over the last year and a half of range days. Yeah. So every stage I'd go into it and be like, all right, this is the one. I got this. And then it wouldn't be the one. I'd be like, God damn it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint you, boys.
You'll get back to losing again soon, Sam.
It's pretty good for me. I'm sure I will. Next range day I'll probably get last, but that's all right. I have this. You can never take this victory away from me. It's it's cemented in video evidence.
Sam, I lost that SD card, so all the footage is gone.
Son of a gun!
Whatever.
Isn't that the damnedest thing, boy?
Whatever.
That's a tough break, Sam. Woof.
Mm-hmm. So that was pretty fun. We did that Saturday evening. But before that, Saturday afternoon, and we've talked about this in the podcast before, but my uncle passed away several months ago, and we were finally able to have a proper funeral for him. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to a military funeral before, but frickin' taps. It's impossible not to get choked up. It just, you can't do it.
Right.
I mean, years ago, I even was at a then girlfriend's grandma's funeral or something, and she served in World War II, I believe it was. And they played taps for her, and I didn't even know the lady, never met her in my entire life. And sure as shit, here come the waterworks. There's nothing, it's just so, and at this particular one, he was like the most patriotic guy ever. He loved America, and he loved his veterans and everything. And so that's what the whole service was based around. They started off, everybody stood up and they played Lee Greenwood, God Bless the USA. It's like, thanks a lot, Patty. This is just trying to freaking make me cry,
Right.
And that's a pretty, that's an emotional song, and it's just like, I brought my hanky or my handy dandy handkerchief, because it's going to happen. But have you ever been to an actual military funeral? And they go up there and they fold. Actually, they fold the flag, and it's all so precise and so crisp, and that's pretty incredible to watch. And give it to the widow, but Yeah, that's I just wanted to mention that I know we talked about it before, but that's finally he's actually not buried yet. It's still up in the air. He's got to go down and be buried in a military cemetery down in Des Moines. But this whole the COVID and everything going on, it's still kind of messing everything up.
Right.
But at least we got a little bit, got that part of it done. But so sorry to be a downer. Just kind of wanted to mention that. I know we've been kind of keeping you updated on that a little bit. So, yeah, there was if you guys, unless you guys are not paying attention at all to what's going on in the news, there's a bunch of nonsense going on. But there was one particular instance, and I don't even remember where this was. Do you remember where this guy? Were you even aware of this situation? The guy that shot the.
Nope.
So what happened was there's a certain fella.
Didn't even hear of it. Of course, I am not. I do the exact opposite of try and read the news or listen to the news. I stay as far away from it as humanly possible.
Well, this particular incident, obviously there was some protesting going on, and which it seems like anymore the majority of the protests turn into violence and nonsense. But there happened to be, and the only video that I saw, it just cut to.
I think he means riots, not protests, but because I don't.
I said the protests turn into riots and violence.
Oh, I thought you just said violence, but yeah, it's pretty ridiculous that people still want to claim they're protesting when.
Yeah, it's not even close anymore. All they are, it's bullshit. But so anyway, the video, the one I saw, comes on, and this guy is down on the ground, and there's a bunch of guys dressed in black rushing at him, and one has a skateboard, and anyway, the guy's down. He has another guy on top of him. He gets free, and he gets up, and just as these guys are closing in on him, and then this one is coming at him, and he draws, pops this guy, shoots him several times. The guy obviously go down. Oh my God! Everybody on the video. Oh my God! He shot him. Well, what do you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
So initially, this guy was charged, I believe, but it came out shortly after. You could see in the video, if you pause it just at the right angle, one of the protesters. Well, one of them came at him with a skateboard and was going to.
Right. And they were all yelling, "Kill him!" Or "We're gonna kill him," or "We're gonna kill you."
Right.
It's clear in the video. We're gonna kill you.
I mean, so the guy had a skateboard. He's justified in shooting him at that point because a skateboard can cause serious bodily harm. Period. Done. Over with. That's end of conversation.
Yeah.
But then they paused the video right at the right angle, and the guy that he shot had a freaking knife. Gonna shank him. And it's like. And I don't know if the cops saw that evidence and that's what caused them to drop the charges or what. But either way, at this point, I mean, that guy still got lawyer fees. He's still got to get his gun back from the cops. He's going to be paying a lot of money just for defending his life, even though it was justified and he did absolutely nothing. Well, I didn't see the start of the video.
I read somewhere that he had pepper sprayed someone, but I never. That I didn't see anything else to substantiate it.
And I mean, regardless, I'd still, not that it makes it any better, but I'd rather be bankrupt and alive than beaten to death by a bunch of punks.
Yeah, absolutely, and shanked. But I guess what I was leading into was carry insurance. I know I've talked about this before, and I need to get this, but I haven't ever gotten around to it. I know, the one that I'm most familiar with is Second Call Defense, and they do. I mean, pretty much take care of they give you a card you carry in your wallet. Tell you what to say to the police officers. You call 911. You call them immediately. And then they kind of, you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth until the lawyer shows up, and they have lawyers, on reserve all over the country. So if you end up getting in trouble for this, then I think it's is fucked up and as troublesome as times are anymore. It's like, oh boy.
Well, does USCCA Don't they have
yes,
legal counsel and things, like
they offer
help
that.
like that?
They offer the insurance.
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
But you do have to be careful, and I don't know if USCCAA has this or not. You do have to be careful, though, because there are some that you pay for it, and you don't get a dime until you're proven guilt or until you're proven innocent.
Right.
There are, I believe second call defense are one of them that, they're going to pay
Right.
up front and cover your ass because, a
lot of them you're footing the bill, the attorney bill, and then you're compensated after.
Right. And if it's a serious charge and you're in prison, you can't get out, and you can't go to work, you can't pay your bills. All of a sudden your life is over with for something that you're innocent of,
Yeah.
So I'm going to start looking into that a little bit more. And I think you can get between $10 and $40 a month. And it's just like,
yeah.
anymore,
What do I want?
that's just
Netflix or insurance for?
well, yeah, I don't pay for
know.
Netflix. So anymore, it's just like, just a no-brainer. I think Box, is that something you would look into?
Yeah, it's something I've always thought about. And at the time, I don't know. It sounds silly to say, I can't afford that, but I don't know. Yeah, it's something I always, just like you, I've always intended on doing it, just never did.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know anymore. It's just as crazy as the world's getting. Seems like it is time to start seriously considering it.
Right.
But obviously, if you guys are listening to this, there's a good chance you listen to We Like Shooting as well. It's a gun podcast. They're big into guns and stuff. And Second Call Defense is one of their sponsors, and I know they all have it and they rave about it and they love it. And that's actually where I became familiar with it. So, it'll be interesting to look into that shit a little bit more. And I was going to go right from this subject to the following subject because it is similar, but I realized I forgot to do whiskey.
That's what I was going to get.
Of the week.
Oh, we still don't have our sounds fixed, do we?
No, I'm too lazy.
You are one pathetic loser.
Actually, I'm too
What
damn
in the
busy. I
hell?
haven't had time. I'm
Too
sorry,
damn
guys.
busy.
No, he just forgets about it.
I forget. Plus, I'm working 70 hours a week, and I never have the time to freaking do that shit. But anyways, 2 episodes ago, I believe it was, we had on Mr. Miles from You Betcha, and we asked him about his favorite whiskeys, and he mentioned that he liked Pendleton. So I happened to be in the Wally World the other day, just walking by the whiskey aisle.
Yeah, he walked straight there.
The whiskey aisle, it's all the way in the very back, but I just happened to be walking by it,
Right. Out of some sheer coincidence.
Now, they didn't know if I was going to buy anything, but I saw the Pendleton. I was like, oh, okay. So, and actually, I think I've had Pendleton before. Either that or I've heard that it's pretty damn good. So we're gonna do a little sampling of this today, and I'll be honest with you, I've already dug into it a little bit, and I'm fairly impressed.
So this now, if this doesn't speak of quality, first of all, it's a blended Canadian whiskey. So that's kind of like Crown Royal is a blended Canadian
That makes
whiskey.
it sound
so
like
type of
BV to
thing.
me.
Well,
And
BV is also
BV is terrible.
Well, it is. Cut with the finest glacier-fed spring water from Oregon's High Peak Mount Hood. So,
Oh, it's made in Oregon?
it's blended Canadian whiskey. So it's made in Canada.
Well, you said cut with Oregon water.
Yeah, it is.
So they use Oregon water to make Canadian whiskey?
Yep, product to
Those
Canada.
thieving bastards.
No,
Get
it's-
your own
no.
water.
It's owned by a Canadian company, so it's Canadian whiskey, but it is made in Oregon.
You're a real funny son of a bitch, Johnson.
True Western tradition, made for the rodeo using time-honored methods of oak barrel aging for a rich, complex flavor and an uncommonly smooth finish.
I'm going to go ahead and bet. I bet you Box doesn't like it, but I think it's pretty damn
It's got
good.
that rye taste to it, don't it? Or no,
80
I guess
proof.
it's Canadian whiskey.
Well, you hated
Do you like Crown?
You hated Templeton. You didn't like Templeton, and this is similar to Templeton.
I don't know. I
would
don't
say.
like Crown, but I don't hate Crown.
Yeah. I don't know. From what I remember of drinking it in the past, I think it's kind of like Crown.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good, but I'm drinking it with a little bit of drinking around the rocks. It's pretty damn good that way. You don't look impressed, Box.
I got to get that initial sniff out of the way.
Yeah.
It gives me the
He gets the shiver.
willies every time.
You know what? I bet if your initial sniff was you just snorted a little, your actual, when you tasted it, it'd taste fantastic compared to
because you'd already been
Oh,
hammered.
man.
From,
While we're doing this, so the other night, Saturday night, I believe it was, me and Adam and Cuss were drinking, and we took some shots of Maker's Mark. And I was like, oh, yeah, Maker's Mark is actually pretty good. Those shots were just dreadful. It's way different compared to when you're just sipping on Maker's Mark to pounding down a whole shot of Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
That was just horrific that night. I was like, well, that's not good at all.
Huh.
It was weird.
I have changed my mind.
Yeah.
Get that thing off the podium.
Toad absolutely hates Maker's Mark. He despises that shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good, but yeah, you're right. When you're just doing shots of whatever it is, it's a little bit different than.
Yeah, I don't really care what it is, unless it's tequila. I'm not very excited about a shot of
We
it.
also took quite a few shots of tequila that
Yeah.
night too, which I also hate.
Do you?
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy good tequila.
And this isn't bad. This is pretty smooth.
I'm surprised you like it, being you didn't like Templeton. But well, so what do you rate this?
I think Canadian, like blended Canadian whiskey, like Crown and this, and BV, I mean, obviously is a lower quality deal, but like Crown and this they all have that very, they have like kind of a distinct flavor, compared to like an American whiskey. I don't know how to, I'm obviously no.
They taste Canadian.
It just
Tastes
makes
like
me,
apologies
it just
and-
makes me want to say sorry,
God, we need a shelf for the rest of these to where we can keep them in order. So we know where those all are, because I'm trying to think of which ones back there this could remind me of, but I don't
So
know.
are we ever going to have anything replace the top three? Because even when we have a fantastic one like this, I think this is podium material. But
I think
this
is podium material.
The only
as
way
well.
to replace one of the is fucking pit this against every single one of those and
I
go
know.
one by one.
And then we get to drink 14 whiskeys at a time. You know what I mean?
I think this one's there'd be
Maybe-
you'd be so drunk by the end of it
Right.
it wouldn't mean anything
Yeah.
anyways.
Maybe we should have a whiskey episode where we sit down and go through all the whiskeys again.
Oh,
And
God.
rate them 1 to
I'm busy
I don't
that
know,
day.
like 20.
That'll be the first episode we do when we do the whenever we get a new studio, we'll do a whiskey episode, the very first one. Really break that sumbitch in good.
I'm gonna be busy that day.
That's a terrible idea, because we all have to drive to that new studio.
Well, we can Uber home. Plus, it's up like
Uber, huh? Are you kidding me? No, we can't.
Yeah, we can.
It's going to be expensive, though.
No, I have friends. We have friends and family.
That's not
Guys,
Uber.
Come on.
That's not Uber.
So, and the other thing is, Johnson, this so-called studio that we're thinking
Yeah.
about is up like a mass, like not just a flight
Large
of stairs.
flight.
It's
of
like
stairs.
it's like two. It's I don't know why it's up there so high.
But the
it's
thing
like,
is,
35
those
feet off the
stairs-
ground.
yeah, it is. It's,
those stairs aren't very steep, though, and they're very large stairs, so you got a lot of room. I don't think it would hurt.
Yeah, but
very
if you
bad.
fall-
Great.
if
So
you-
it's not like going
if
down
you-
a normal flight of stairs. So I'm definitely gonna fall down and drunk.
well, and if they're still going to hurt if you fall down because once you start falling downstairs, you're hosed.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
going to catch
You're
it.
And
not-
I'm pretty,
you're
I
not
think
stopping.
the front of the stairs are beveled a little bit, so those are going to be soft too on
Yeah.
on your head.
Right. So I'm just gonna rattle
Yeah.
across them like washboard.
until you hit the bottom and bust the door open.
Right. Oh joy.
Speaking
Sounds
of
wonderful.
which, I ran into my cousin this past weekend. I hadn't seen him in it's 3 or 4. I don't remember the last time I saw.
It has a
Chris.
lot of vanilla flavor to it.
It does.
It does. I don't remember the last time I saw Chris Potts. I bet it's been 3 or 4 years at least.
Yeah, I haven't
Didn't
used it in a
recognize
while.
this kid. But anyways, we were talking about the stairs. It got me thinking. Me and Ranking went down and visited him and Phil in college one time down in Maryville, Missouri, and Chris did something that pissed us off, and we were back. Phil and Chris lived together, so we were back at their pad, and Chris was still out doing whatever, and we had a snowboard there, and Chris really pissed us off, so we took his mattress and threw it down the stairs, and then we were snowboarding down to the stairs onto it. Well, that was all well and good, except when one person hit the mattress and the Snowbird went up and broke the window, and there's broken glass and shit all over the mattress. And we're like, yeah, whatever, we'll fix it tomorrow. So Chris comes home like in the middle of the night, and his fucking mattress is down in the bottom of the stairs, covered in broken glass. What the fuck? We didn't think he'd be home till tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know what you want from us, man.
Yeah, would you expect any less? We're idiots.
Oh, those were some good times down there. But... So, do we need to take a sip of the number 9? Because I don't know. I don't think it's better than number 9 myself.
No. How about we save that for another episode?
But this is the whiskey of the week.
Okay, let's
just a sip.
Take a swig. Let's do it.
You don't need to take a whole shot.
Well, I got ice in mine.
Share with Johnson. It's not like there's a pandemic or anything.
Right.
Well, Johnson makes it impossible to social distance anyways.
Right.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means you have a
nipple fetish?
Yeah.
Dude fetish?
A little bit.
Dudes have nipples, therefore.
Potato.
It is what it is. I can't.
Oops,
Look out.
So I guess we're going to...
Watch it, pervert.
Why don't I just take a little...
Here you go.
Slug. Here you go. Here you go.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. Give me some Pendleton right out of the bottle. Mine's cut with mine's cut with ice, and it's since melted, so I can't. It's not fair.
Sam, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to get 2 shot glasses and do them as quick as you can, so you can really tell.
Ooh, I think Pendleton's better.
Yep, Pendleton. Yep.
It's
smoother.
The little bit of sweetness, right. And it's a little bit smoother.
I don't want to say you're right, but I think you might be right.
Yeah.
So now what are we gonna do?
I think it's that little bit of sweetness. Like the smoothness, yeah, it helps, but I think the little bit of sweetness in the Pendleton puts it over the top.
All right, so it knocks off that. Sorry, Slipknot. We loved you for a long time.
Me love you long time.
Might take that one home.
I don't remember who bought that, so I can't.
Miles bought it.
Yeah. That one was sponsored.
Sorry, that one's got to stay here. But should we try?
There's 46 other bottles over here.
There's plenty of booze over there. I ain't gonna drink it all.
You've been making an honest effort. Look at some of these bottles over here, like especially the 1792 that.
I haven't drank much of that actually.
I think I drank quite a bit of that.
Should we try the makers and see if it knocks off the makers too?
Oh boy, I'm already sweating.
Yeah, it's hot as balls in here.
Well, I can't. I turn the AC on, but
I know.
It sounds so horrible that
we're poor people.
So yeah,
I thought it was funny that you said we're poor people as you're pouring. That was funny.
Sorry for the I hate when we're doing the whiskey of the week when we're all drinking and there's silence, and it's not so bad if you're watching the video, but if you're just doing if you're just on the watch and listen to the podcast
what the
or whatever.
hell are they doing? Somebody say something.
Why is it so quiet? These guys are horrible at podcasting.
What's happening? Did my headphones quit? No, we just are not very good at making conversation because we're all staring at the person taking a drink of a glass of whiskey.
Boy, so, that's smooth. It's really smooth. Doesn't have as good a flavor, but it's smoother. I don't know. I don't think it'll knock it off. When we do our whiskey,
I don't know, man.
When we do our whiskey showdown, we'll have to.
I think Pendleton's better than Maker's Mark.
Yeah, that second
Box doesn't agree.
That second sip of mine was a little harsh there. That was more reminiscent of Saturday night.
I think you got a bad taste in your mouth from Saturday night, to be honest.
Maybe. It's possible.
You got a stigma.
I don't know. I want to say it doesn't beat it just because I don't want to drink more straight whiskey. But
so,
I don't know.
I know 1792 is better than Pendleton. Like, I distinctly remember 1792 being top notch.
So, what do we want to do? I
don't know. Personally, I would put Pendleton above Maker's Mark.
It's pretty close.
Well,
Let's
there's only 3 of us here now, so I guess
What's your vote?
God, I don't know. I'm gonna have to take another sip as
Here,
bad as I
here.
don't want to.
I don't want any more. I'm so sweaty. I do not want to drink more
Sweating
whiskey.
like a
It'll-
whore in church.
Oh, like a fat girl in a phone booth, man. Just sticky.
All right. Well,
I
Box
don't
is
know.
going to take
I
another
don't know.
swig. I would be okay with it. I can't talk either.
Right.
Today, Junior.
No, I think Pendleton is better than Maker's Mark. I think the flavor is much better than Maker's Mark.
I think the flavor's better too.
Yeah.
Maker's
And I
Mark,
think-
Maker's Mark is slightly smoother.
I don't know.
What
I'm not
percentage
sure I
is
can-
Maker's?
I'm not sure I can say one's better than the
I think
other.
they're both
pretty
80
close to
proof,
me.
aren't they?
45. This
Oh,
one
that's
is-
90.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is 80 proof. Maker's Mark's 90 proof.
Oh, that changes things.
No,
then.
it doesn't.
Yeah, because as smooth as Maker's
get
is for being
5%.
90%.
You can get 5% drunker off of this.
Yeah. No,
Can
I
we-
don't know. My vote is Pendleton 2, Maker's Mark 3. I honestly, my personal opinion is I would put Slipknot number 3 and Maker's Mark goes to 4, but
I would say Pendleton can bump out Maker's.
You
and
know,
be
I
number
like
2.
that idea, Johnson, because I don't know.
Pendleton to 2, Slipknot 3, Maker's Mark's out.
What?
Somehow. Yeah.
I think that's the right call.
I don't believe. No, I don't agree. I don't agree. Maker's will be 3, Pendleton's 2.
I disagree. I think Slipknot number 9 is 3 and Pendleton is 2.
You can't change shit. Slipknot was number 3 for freaking how long, and now all of a sudden we're just gonna.
Yeah, all of a sudden we just got this and we're going to put it to number 2. Why can't we? We're going to change it anyway.
Because Slipknot was behind Maker's Mark for
Hell, Ricky,
forever.
I was high when I said that.
No, we can't jump it above there without doing.
We can jump it above there.
Stuttering Sammy today. Some days my stuttering's worse than other days.
I'm telling you, Pendleton's 2, Slipknot's 3.
Can we give it a
Box?
Can we give it a participation trophy?
No, Box.
Give what a participation trophy? Slipknot?
Slipknot.
No.
God, I don't know. I'm just pretty well done with this.
Well, this is gonna be if we don't put Slipknot back on the podium, it's gonna be really awkward when we have him on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lead singer.
He doesn't want shit to do with this.
No, I will be okay with Pendleton going up to 2, but I won't be okay with Slipknot kicking Maker's Mark out.
That's where I think you're wrong.
Well, I'm sorry. That's you can't just swap shit around
You can.
all willy nilly.
We can.
Let's just put it up to 2, and then we can talk about that other shit down the road when we have a whiskey episode or the next episode, whatever. You're a little prick. No. So at this point, 1792 is 1, Pendleton's 2, Maker's Mark's 3.
Slipknot
Even though
number 3.
Johnson thinks
Hey,
that
Box
he's gonna,
agreed with me. Box agreed with me, and that's 2 versus 1.
That's because he freaking took shots of Maker's Mark Saturday night, and he don't like it.
We took into account Toad's absolute hatred for it, and guess what we did? Threw it by the wayside and said, "Too bad, it's going." to
Maybe
number
this
2.
could be something that is also helped decide by our viewers at one of the hangouts that we've been talking about for I don't know how long now.
The White Trash Bash.
Something fun.
Yeah, we need to do that. We need to just freaking do that because was supposed to be Freedom Fest was supposed to be 2 weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago, and obviously that got canceled. So we'll do something else, something smaller.
We're all gonna get hammered off this whiskey.
Yep.
I mean, we got enough whiskey to get a lot of people hammered.
Right, and apparently we're gonna have goat steaks.
Ooh,
All right, I'm down with
delicious.
that. So what should we do, Johnson? Should we have should we just have a grilling and drinking day, or should we have a range day and then grilling and drinking?
Yeah,
Or
range day, then grilling and drinking.
oh, well, it's your property, dude. That's kind of, if you want to undertake that, that's one thing. I don't know if I can get insurance for a bunch of yahoos out there or not. I'll have to look into it.
It's not gonna. We're not gonna have 40 people there.
No, well,
Yeah, we have like 4 listeners, man.
Right.
You guys really undersell us. We're growing. The podcast is actually growing steadily every month. We're picking up more and more.
Oh,
steam,
we've got
so.
8 now, huh?
No,
That would
We get
almost
several
fill out
hundred-
half of a bracket for
we
doing
get
a
several
dueling
hundred
tree
downloads.
tournament.
Several hundred downloads a month now.
So
See,
I
it's
think
very I get it's misleading because I go to Podbean and I'm not logged in or anything as LSLF, so it just says like 7 downloads and wow,
Of what?
Neat when it's just looking at our podcast as a listener, it just says downloads. It doesn't say how many views or anything.
How many downloads to what each episode?
Yeah.
We average between 40 and 60 downloads per episode.
So I think that's on Podbean. So if they listen on Apple, it's probably not included on that. Or if they listen,
he said it is.
Is it?
I'll show you the stats here when we're done.
Yeah.
It's actually.
But anyway, yeah, I think I don't know. I would like to get like a tournament bracket of some viewers put together. We'll do a build drill qualification time. So you'll do a build drill for time, and that gives you a qualifying time.
Puts you on the poll.
Well, whoever wants to be on the poll can be on the poll.
No way of reference.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Johnson's going to be the pole sitter for sure.
But we could do that for qualifying times, then build a ladder and have people race on the dueling tree. I think it'd be awesome.
We have a buy-in and
Ooh,
prizes
like a
shit?
cash days.
Yeah, we won't take
Dueling
any
tree cash days. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
we won't take any of it for ourselves, but
It'll just go to the top.
The prizes will go out to whoever, Well, the winner will be like a hooker or something. No,
I am not gonna lie. If we're into this for like that and maybe like a kilo of Bolivian marching powder, I'm gonna be out there every day practicing my ass off.
All right, well, I guess that's something we can maybe the next. Yeah, we've been looking for something to do, so that'll be a good one, I think. And then we can do some goat steaks. Maybe milk a goat or two. Whatever. See, we can have white Russians with goat milk.
With goat milk, yeah.
Well,
we might.
weird.
I don't know. We've been talking about getting some. What the hell are they? Some like Nigerian dairy goats. I don't know.
Why Nigerian?
Because they have there's a specific breed of goat that has like the closest to cow milk from a goat. Because there's like some breeds of goats that the milk tastes a little different.
Goaty?
Yeah. And it's got a little barnyard funk to it, But these Nigerian dairy goats, they're about as close as you can get to cow milk, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I was worried we weren't going to have enough to talk about this podcast, but here we are talking about milk and goats. And,
yeah,
never fails.
Speaking of my barnyard animal problem, I don't know. My wife buys way too many animals, and does anybody want to come out and help me dig a pond for my ducks?
Jesus. Absolutely not.
Like
No?
manually?
Well, yeah. It's not going to be a very big pond. I only have 4 ducks.
It depends how you're going to pay me.
Sexual favors, I figured.
Okay,
but
all right. Well, and anyways, this is possibly. That's
Okay.
There we go. We can have the listeners come out and dig you a pond. And
there
then
we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be all over that.
Man, we'll have a guest list a mile long.
So yeah, we need to figure out when we're going to do that. July, it's going to be fucking hotter than bejesus.
Yeah, so is August.
But
And September.
no, September is usually starting to cool.
So if you guys want to
It's
come
the
out
summer,
around
guys.
Thanksgiving.
We're going to have to fucking do it.
Right.
By the time summer's over, then it's cold, and
Yeah.
we just got to do it in the fucking summer.
Yeah.
It's part of living in Iowa.
If anybody
We've been-
wants to come out between Halloween and Thanksgiving, should be prime time.
Yeah. So anyway, we've been rambling long enough. The next subject we're going to talk about, which is I was going to go from that rioter that rioter getting his ass shot to the defunding police. This has been the big subject.
Oh yeah,
lately.
the hot topic.
And I wouldn't have such a problem with it if they had a fucking plan.
Right.
Like if they had anything. Like, we're going to make community-based safety organizations. What the fuck does that even mean?
Okay.
No, they've literally said, we don't know how we're going to replace them.
Yeah, explain how.
That's what I mean. I wouldn't have such a problem and wouldn't call these guys such fuckheads if they had an actual plan in place other than, fuck the police, we're going to defund them, and then we'll just see where it goes.
Right.
Like,
so we were talking about this at work a bit today, and I think like the consensus among us at work was, okay, so we're going to defund police and it's going to be privatized. Security forces will be privatized when it's not publicly funded, right? So it's going to be private security companies. Whoever pays for security is going to have private security, right? So all these rich people who these people calling to defund police hate all these rich old white guys, people, right? And all these rich old white guys are going to have
even more control,
armed security, and then they're going to want to abolish that. It's just going to be a big circle is what it's going to do, because they're going to want to defund police and they want to privatize it, but they hate these people. So then they're going to be like, well, we can't afford these security guards. So this, just your typical socialist thinking is, hey, we need to defund this, and then it becomes privatized, and then only the rich people have it. So then the people who are trying to defund it now are going to be pissed off that they can't afford it, and then they're going to want it free for everybody. And it's like, oh wait, didn't we have that? Isn't that where we started? And you didn't want that, so now it went to this, and you didn't want that, so you want to go back now?
Yeah,
So really, really stupid.
and so the neighborhoods that are having the most violence problems, the poor ghettos and shit, the violence is just going to get worse and worse, because I'm sorry, if you get the police out of there, it's not magically all of a sudden just going to take care of itself.
Well, right, and that's been very evident in the past, because the police don't want to go to these neighborhoods because there's so much hatred for them there anyway, and that's why there's so much violence in those neighborhoods, because the police are unwanted. And when the police are unwanted and, targeted basically in a lot of these neighborhoods,
absolutely,
they're not going to go there to help.
Yeah.
They're going to avoid that neighborhood at all costs because they know they're not welcome there. So did Minneapolis actually vote to defund yet, or
No, they did. It was a super majority, so they can't even veto it.
But was it actually voted on, or did all the members just say they plan on voting?
It was voted on.
So when is this going to happen?
They said over the next few months. So over the next few months, there's going to be fewer and fewer police.
So who the fuck are you supposed to call? Somebody's breaking in your house.
Ghostbusters,
right?
Yeah,
who do you call? And plus, Minnesota is not that gun friendly.
Your life coach.
You got to call up a social worker. This dude is trying to bust in my house. Can you come and talk to him, please?
Right.
That's their plan. They're going to send social workers to something.
You just tell him that your house is a gun-free zone and it's a safe space, and he is not welcome there. That's what you do.
Right. And the thing that boggles my mind too is just like, you have a conversation with somebody
that people actually believe this is a viable option.
That people actually people actually believe that this is a massive issue in the first place. Like the situation going on in Atlanta. Yeah, the guy got shot and died. That's unfortunate, but it's pretty simple. If he didn't assault the police, steal their taser, and then try to shoot the police with their taser, he wouldn't be dead. Right. Period. That's all there is to it.
I just want it to be
personal responsibility.
I have been arrested for DUI. The same thing this guy was getting arrested for.
Me too.
I'm alive.
I did my time, and not because of our skin color. We just did our time, paid our fines, and that was it.
Done. I didn't act like an idiot.
So I don't even know. Like it seems like the world is just upside down and crazy anymore. The biggest
reason for the push for defunding police is, and it's the biggest reason for all of the chaos going on, like especially the Chaz deal, the Capitol Hill thing, and all of this is all these people feel that the world needs to change for them. They don't need to change themselves. They don't need to take responsibility for their actions. They don't need to change. The world needs to change to suit them. That's their attitude. And that's honestly the main cause of all of this unrest. All of the civil unrest in today's society is based on the belief that these entitled assholes truly believe that the world needs to change for them, not them changing for the world.
Yeah, and I think you're right, but I think to a certain extent, both sides need to change. I mean, because there are some, like, obviously what happened to the Floyd fellow was wrong and should never happen. So there are things that the cops need to change. But there's also things that they got to change on the other side.
You can speak about police reform, but defunding police is the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever heard.
Right. And
getting rid of a public police force is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
When you have one, I mean, I realize that it's more than one bad cop. I realize there's more than one, rotten apple in the group.
But if you actually look at the numbers, like you talk to these people that are on the side of defund the police, and they're saying it's an epidemic. They're just slaughtering us every day.
No,
you know how many black people, unarmed black men, were shot in 2009? They were killed in 2019 by cops. 9.
Yeah,
9. You know how many whites? Over twice that. So, yes, every single life, that is unfortunate. And every single one of those instances should be looked at. And if that officer was indeed in the wrong, yes, he should be charged and put away. I'm 100% for that. But
that's
not
the personal.
It's not this massive epidemic that they're making out to be. You know how many black people were killed by other black people last year? 2,200.
Yeah.
And they're pissed at the cops.
Yeah. Well, and the thing for me is, like, we talk about the personal responsibility, and that's on the individual being arrested and, being responsible and, listening to the officer and respecting the officer and letting him do his job. But that also goes both ways.
Absolutely.
Like I totally understand that when a police officer is out of line and doing shit because he's got, little man syndrome and thinks he needs to prove how tough he is to you or things like that, or it pisses you off, it rubs you the wrong way. I get it. But that's still, that respect and personal responsibility is on both sides.
Yeah, and nowadays, and there was, like, in my situation, my DUI that I got arrested for in Kansas City, there was an instance that happened in that, and the reasoning she pulled me over really pissed me off, and I thought it was wrong.
Mine too.
But the truth was, I blew over. I was drunk. That was I fucked up, and that was my fault. I took responsibility for that. But then wasn't the time to address it while this was happening. Yeah. There's body cameras. There's cameras freaking everywhere nowadays.
During the incident, when I'm intoxicated, is not the time for me to try and argue my case,
And let's just make this clear. We're 100% against, racial injustices and shit. Obviously, we shouldn't even have to freaking say that. I mean, let's be honest. 99.95% of America is nowadays.
Right.
But there's got to be a little bit of give and take, and it's not just the fact that fuck the police, they're bad, because that's absolute fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
But anyways, we kind of got off the subject.
That goes into a lot of aspects of today's society too, though, is in all aspects of life, people are getting lumping people in to a larger group. You have one bad cop that people will say all cops are bad. You have one bad, political supporter of one candidate or another, they're all bad. You have one, it doesn't matter. People are just and even the people who are peacefully protesting are seeing it. The people, getting lumped in with all the rioters and stuff. It's in all aspects of life that people get lumped in with the bad apples, right? And
the other side of it is, like, we're all so preconditioned. Like, I'm pretty much a law enforcement supporter. So when an instance like this happens, typically, even if it is subconsciously, I tend to wait for the facts and lean towards giving the officer the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Even if he doesn't deserve it. Well, and there's those on the other side that when it happens, they're leaning towards the other side, and we're also biased, whether it's conscious or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've realized that myself. I'm very biased one side, and the other side's very biased the other side.
Yeah.
So when we have a conversation, we can't. It's hard for us to
avoid
agree
that,
on anything.
Well, it's hard to avoid being biased, and I think that has a lot to do with internet media, honestly.
Media, 100%. Yeah.
You know,
because
and it's not even mainstream media being on one side or the other. It's just the fact that you seek out the answers that you want. You go online and look for facts and look for answers to questions that you have. You're not seeking out the truth. You're seeking out
what you
support of your opinion.
Absolutely.
So it's made it very easy for people to be very opinionated and very biased, because you can always find something on the internet to support your belief.
Right. And it's hard.
It's very hard for you to actually bring in enough conflicting information to say, you know what, I might be wrong about this, because it's so easy to find support of whatever you think about, that it's very hard to. Right.
And I realize that, like, I'm very set in my ways.
Yeah.
And there's been so much going on lately that I have talked to several of my friends on the other side, and just had small little conversations, like, to see how the way they think about things. And like, I think that I'm so correct in this, like, so biased, like, this is the way it is 100%. Well, you talk to somebody else on the other side, minorities or whatever, and the way that they view things, and they're not. They're the same way. They're so, this is how it is, and so I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, and it's we just got to become we just got to stop being so fucking divided and find out a way to get back to the middle ground. But
I don't even think it's so much the division. I think it's the fact that if you disagree with me, I hate you. Mm-hmm. That's the part that I think needs to go away. People can have opposite opinions and still get along.
Yeah.
Like that's the part that irritates me, is it's so opinionated one way or the other that it creates division, instead of people just saying, yeah, I disagree with you. Okay, move on with your life.
Yeah.
Because people want to argue to the end about it, and if I can't make you think exactly like me, I hate you. That's so dumb.
Yeah. I think to most people, it boils down to, or a huge contributing factor to it is the internet. And to most people, everyone on Facebook is one person. Like everybody, they click on a news article and they read something from some complete stranger that they've never heard of before, read a comment from before. They read something that could be stereotypical of that something on the other side might say, and they lump that one person in with all these other views that's on the other side. They don't think that, it may be just this one person's
this person
partial view. You can't
and that's the thing, is like, somebody's pro-gun, there's just
pro-gun, you're racist,
right?
That's right. Initially, essentially what it is. And if you have this view, you must be this.
Yeah, and it's like, somebody could be a gay gun lover who's pro-choice and black. That would confuse the shit out of some people, because they would be like, what is happening here? You can't be all of those things. That's not what social media tells me should be happening, And I think it is shitty that people, and that's like what I was saying earlier with the lumping together, lumping people into groups. And you're absolutely right. People just hear one person's opinion about one thing and they automatically have placed them in a group.
To most people, I think the world is so black and gray. So if you don't have this view, then you must have this view.
Yeah.
They don't see any in between there.
And see, that's where you're weird, because most people say black and white, like, because those are contrast. But black and gray, there's supposed to be a gray area.
I guess I should have said black and white. Yeah, I thought I did.
Because you got to have the gray area. I
didn't want to say white because it was racist.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's the absolute truth. Most people, it's so one side or the other. There's no in between. There is no gray area.
And I think these days there's
I think that's big. Social media and the internet have everything to do with that.
I think there's a huge lack of self-awareness in today.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody can look back on why they might feel something or why they did something. They just assume that I did it, it must be right. They don't look back on anything and reflect and think why they feel some way or why they, I don't know. It's hard for me to explain now that I'm trying to say it out loud, but
there's no self-reflection to say, why do I believe this?
Yeah.
Why do I feel this way?
Sam was saying earlier, he's so
Am
set.
I wrong?
It's essentially they're set in their ways. And I mean, I've seen it in everyone.
And I think that has a lot to do with social media and internet. And like I said, you can find support of your belief so easily.
Yeah.
It's so easy to find the answer that you wanted to find that it's very easy at a young age to become set in your ways because everything you read on Facebook supports what you believe because you choose to read that.
One question I've had in my mind for years now that I think a lot of people should consider is, what if you were wrong about everything?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's like, but I'm not. And everybody's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
What if you were? Yeah. What if guns are the problem? What if cops are super racist?
Yeah.
Nobody considers that.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody wants to consider that.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I was talking about when we were talking about the one, what a douche for this week that I was talking about, is you had an idea of what you thought it probably was. And then I said, well, what if it's just the obvious? Mm-hmm. What if it's, exactly as it seems? Because I think it's so easy for people that think the way we do to say, oh, that had to be set up by this group, or that had to be, a ploy by someone to stir some shit up,
Right.
But it's very plausible that it could just be exactly what it looks like, and that's another thing that I think I am so distrusting of the media that I also immediately go to, well, that's obviously bullshit. Somebody set that up, but it doesn't have to be. It could be exactly how it looks. It could be exactly what they're reporting.
I like to just assume that nobody knows shit.
Right.
Everyone thinks they knows everything, they know everything, but they don't know a freaking thing.
Yep.
Well, it's
and that's the truth too, I think.
Yeah, we're all just a bunch of idiots that read the internet.
A lot of memes have been going around lately about what the media shows you and the truth and stuff like that. And
is it the truth?
What do you mean?
So it's what the media shows you and then the truth. Well, is it the truth? Or is what the media is showing you actually the truth? We don't know. Nobody knows shit.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
Generally,
you remember that? Did you see that meme about the wait for it? Okay, now, it was like a news camera, and there was this guy, throwing shit at the police officer in riot gear, and it was like the person by the camera, like the reporter was like, wait, and there was a guy attacking a police officer, throwing shit at him, and then as soon as the police officer tried to defend himself and retaliate, okay, now record,
right.
And that's
there's not news sources are not news sources. News sources are opinion sources. Mm-hmm. So everyone is biased one way or the other. And this mark my words, this and social media will be the downfall of America, because everything they're pushing one side so much. Like I obviously lean towards the right side of things. People lean towards the left side. All we are is indoctrinated every day with the shit that we want to see and the shit that we agree with, and it only drives our biases deeper and cements us more into it. So when we come together to have a conversation, we're not going to agree on anything.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're seeing right now is everybody's just
that I think is, I don't know. I think there's like Google and Facebook have way too much pull in what people see with the algorithms and shit that they have to basically pander to each user and give them the answers that they want to see versus, everything. And that I think is what is causing a lot of the, bias to one side or the other. The fact that they want to, push basically, not necessarily one narrative or the other, which, I mean, personally, I believe they push one narrative more than the other, but just pushing the narrative that you're looking for. You know?
Yes, and yeah, but I mean, in the last couple of years, like there's been conversations I was having with somebody, and I was trying to find, like, for instance, something Hillary did. You Google it, and guess what? You ain't gonna find what you want to find in the first 15 pages.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to find a long way to find out something, you know, bad on them. But anyways, we've been rambling about this for long enough. But the moral of the story is, at some point we're gonna have to figure out how the hell to come together, because this what we got going on, it just ain't working,
right?
For anybody. And I honestly thought Civil War was 20, 30, 40 years improbable. In the future.
Yeah.
Now it's looking like it's not so ridiculous. You know, it's
not too far off.
What the hell's going on? But anyways, I'm going to skip over that topic. We can save that for Gears and Beers. Let's see. Ridiculous projects. Like I've been having in my mind since we got that flamethrower. I wanted to fucking put it on the bottom of an AR. And it'd be completely not tactical, I guess, pointless, stupid, but fucking cool. And I want to do some ridiculous project. Like, I got several ideas, like those trikes. I want to build a freaking trike, you know, the slide, what do you call them?
Drift trike.
Drift trike, kind of, you know, modeled after the kid's toy, and mount a freaking, I don't know, an AK to it or something ridiculous like that.
So you have no control at all about what you're shooting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds safe.
Yeah. So I'm spinning
You're
circles and
right.
sliding sideways while firing an AK. Seems genius.
I don't see the problem here.
Well, you will. You will when you get shot in the franken beans with an AK round.
Well, no, you just you know, make the mount that it's on. It can't shoot you.
Well, I'm talking about being a bystander.
Yeah, but we got a place. We got a place for this. The pit up there, up north. And actually, there's 360 degrees of coverage in there, so you can be as ridiculous.
So nobody can watch.
No, you just have to, like, you know, stick your camera up there and watch through the little viewfinder. But I wanted, like, I'm trying to think of some ridiculous project to do like this. I mean, do you guys got any ideas? Like, with obviously those two.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to come up with something fucking cool, because I want to do a video series on this. I think that would be just funner than hell, because we got the knowledge, we got the tools, the shit we need to build pretty much whatever.
We got
the hell
ARs,
we
we got zip ties, and we have a flamethrower. Done.
I got duct tape.
That's gonna be a short video series.
You guys are not getting this.
So I'm thinking we need to talk to Miles. I think he could 3D print us some attachments that may
For what?
A flamethrower to an AR.
You think maybe, possibly. I'm thinking I'm wanting to go bigger than that, though.
I mean, I understand, but you know that, like, I could
What do you mean bigger than that?
model this and send him a file, and he could literally just print it.
Right. A bigger project, like some freaking, I don't know, something.
Overcomplicated is what you want.
No, something bigger. Like I want to build like a freaking off-road trike, or a freaking, I don't know, something.
I don't know.
Apocalypse machine, man.
So I want to build an off-road Ford LTD. Is that bad?
What?
I want to take like a 1976 Ford LTD and like build like a trophy truck suspension under it to where you can just shred shit with this big ass boat of a car.
I'm talking about something we can actually do in the next, 6 months.
That could very easily be done.
You know how expensive that would be?
A car's probably the car you could get for probably $600.
Yeah, the suspension is not, and tires not cheap.
Suspension we would make.
Oh well, let's talk. I don't see that. I don't see that as feasible. I want something with a friggin' trike or something. We could hell, that'd be easy. We could do that, in a few afternoons.
I don't think he's gonna give up on this tricycle thing.
No, if you got a better, I want the apocalypse trike or something like that. I want a badass project like that.
I think we should just probably go for a four-wheeled vehicle that doesn't slide uncontrollably if we're going to mount firearms on it, to be honest.
Pussy.
A dune buggy. We could make like our own version of a Mad Max Doomsday buggy.
Yeah. Mount a flamethrower on it, and maybe an AR-6.
Couple cans of chrome spray paint, you know.
Maybe. Box, got any ideas?
No, I don't.
God,
I'm more about practicality.
He's not so much an
fuck
idea,
practicality, dude.
Fantasy.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, fuck usefulness. Let's make this something that's absolutely terrible at everything.
Yeah, but it'll look cool.
You're damn right. You're damn right. I don't know.
I'll
so
think
if you guys have some idea for a project that I can dive into, I don't care how ridiculous it is. I don't care about practicality. I just want something fucking cool. So hit me up. Let me know. I want to do something fun. I gotta blow off some steam, man. I work all the time. I need to work on something completely ridiculous. And these two are...
Could have made a joke there, but I just, I'm going to gloss right over that.
Okay. Probably a good choice.
It was at your expense, so.
Oh, most jokes that you make are at my expense, so that's really not surprising.
Yeah.
Box, did you have a badass of the week by chance?
Yeah, I do. Do you have the music for it? I'm not doing it without the music.
That is the baddest son of a bitch I have ever seen, ever. Yeah, it's the baddest dude of the week.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
See, nailed it.
Wow.
What's up?
You guys nailed it.
I've listened to it too many times, Box. It's just ingrained. I'll never forget it.
It was a little too fast this time.
Yeah.
You need to slow it down like 10%.
Sorry.
So the baddest dude of the week this week is, some of you might have heard of him, a guy named Jared Reston. He has Reston Group training now. He's a firearms trainer now, or instructor rather. Trainer sounds stupid, I guess.
He should start a business called Reston Bitchface.
Well, he was a police officer in Jacksonville, and this happened in 2008. And he was working off duty, which he said he was still in like full police get up and everything, and full duty gear and stuff like that. So I think it just means like overtime. So they got a call from a mall saying, "Hey, it was from the loss prevention unit, and they're like, "Hey, we got some shoplifters. They're going to be coming out the south door. We're going to go stop them." So these guys were in the security office watching on camera, and there was two suspects shoplifting, and they saw one of them start fighting the loss prevention. So these officers, they're there just as backup if anything goes wrong. And this happened. The loss prevention unit was on the south end of the store, and they were on the north end of the store. So they went running when they saw the fight break out. They started running to the south end. And when they finally got there, they had one of the guys already handcuffed, and they were like, "Hey, is everything okay? What's going on?" And they were like, "Yeah, everything's okay, but that other guy, he got away, and he was, 50 yards away or something like that," they said. And they're like, "Yeah, he still has some stuff. I think he stole some jeans." And this was so stupid too. They were just stealing clothes, which, what the fuck? So they're like, "All right," and they took off after him, and it was just a foot pursuit. And there was two of these officers, Jared and his partner, kind of hung back, so he could keep his breath and give clear radio transmissions. And Jared kept on after him, and he ducked into a store. The suspect ducked into a store, and he caught up to him and stuff, and he pulled his taser out, and he was like, "Hey, dude, stop! I'm the police." He identified himself, let him know he's not mall security or anything. He's like, "I'm the police. You need to stop, or I'm going to tase you." So the guy stopped, and he put up his hands and started walking directly backwards towards him, and then he just did the whole duck his shoulder and took off in a completely different direction again. So he tried firing his taser, and that malfunctioned. So he took off after him again, and by the time he had got his taser holstered, he was pretty much on top of this dude. So he reached out to like grab his shoulder or something like that, and kind of rip him down to the ground and get control of him. But as soon as he got his hand on the shoulder, the guy kind of flipped around with an elbow and broke the grip. So then they were face to face, and it was a fight at that point. So he grabbed this suspect's head and just kind of pulled it real close to his shoulder. And then he started elbowing in his face and stuff, trying to rip him down to the ground. And a few seconds into that, he said he felt just a huge impact in his face. So he felt this huge impact in his face, and he falls down into this embankment, just kind of a little ditch thing, it must not have been very deep or steep or anything like that. When I envision embankment, I think big, deep ditch. But
yeah.
But the guy, he had shot him right under his bottom lip in the center of his mouth, and it came out. It went down through his jaw. So he collapsed his jaw, and it came out his neck. So he was laying down on his back down there at the bottom of this embankment, and the suspect just keeps shooting at him. He's standing up on the top, and this guy's fighting to get up, and at this point he can feel pain in his thigh and in his ass cheek and stuff, and he's fighting his way up. And the suspect's starting to turn and walk away, but he's still like shooting at him. But he sees him trying to get up, so he turns back around and starts walking directly at him. And at this point, Jared is almost up on one knee, and they're just facing each other pretty much. And Jared only has his strong hand, because his other hand is apparently, I don't know, holding himself up or something like that. So they're walking. The suspect's walking at him. Jared's just firing at him. He said every time he had his sights up, and every time he saw a sight on his torso, he was just firing. And the suspect was walking toward him, and he saw him start to sway off to one side. And he started to fall a little bit. And at this point, he was pretty much up on one leg. And he grabbed the suspect's shirt and just pulled him down to him, and he kind of fell, So his back was against the officer's chest, and at that point he just put the muzzle to the guy's head and shot him 3 times at that point. But he had been shot 6 times, and it was a .45. The first one was the one in his face, one in his chest plate, one in his ribs, once in his shoulder, once above his left knee, and one in his right buttock, and one in his right elbow. He was in the ICU for a week and had 14 surgeries over the next couple of months. But after 6 months, he was back working full duty already.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's a tough son of a bitch right there. Jesus.
Right?
That's ridiculous.
Can you imagine the reconstructive surgery on your face?
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at him, yeah, you can tell something was going on with his teeth or something, but his face, it just looks, there's some scars there and shit, but
Jesus.
No.
That's a tough son of a bitch. He doesn't know what dying is.
Yeah.
And that also goes back to like the previous subject we were talking about. This dude's willing to die over a fucking pair of jeans.
Yeah. What the hell for?
Like, what is your problem, man?
Yeah.
And you're willing to murder somebody over a pair of fucking jeans.
Yeah.
When if you would have got caught, you would have spent a night in jail and a fucking maybe,
Yeah.
Like, what is, I don't
If that.
That mentality is...
You'd have been charged with shoplifting, and shoplifting, it's not even like...
It's a misdemeanor.
They would have called your mom. The kid was 18.
Yeah.
They would have fucking called his parents, I'm sure, and they would have been like, you know what your son is doing?
Yeah.
And nothing would have came of it.
So stupid. And that's like, like people always say, I was scared, that's why I was running. Well, like, when you are in that kind of situation, and like at one point he had his hands up and was walking backwards, like, just give it up. Why do you, like at that point, that gives that argument, that completely discredits that argument of I was scared.
Yeah.
No, because you stopped and you were going to comply and you changed your mind and willfully thought, like, I'm not going to comply, I'm going to run again. You cannot argue that at that point. And it's like,
and the big cities,
crazy.
The cops that deal with this shit on a daily basis, like, why do you think they're so? Why do you think sometimes they overreact to simpler issues?
Yeah.
It's because they've dealt with this shit and people trying to fucking kill them. It makes the other instances even worse. So
yeah.
It's a hard life, man. I can't imagine doing that. So, Yeah, that's that dude is a bad son of a bitch. That's for damn sure.
He's very well regarded in the firearm training industry as well too.
Yeah.
Well, I think he probably knows what he's talking about.
Right?
Yeah.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
I was watching a movie with that dude in it the other day, and they pulled out that freaking little quote. He made it, I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. And then they just kept going on with the movie. I was like, what?
You can't throw an insurance commercial in the middle of this movie. Wait a minute.
I got a pretty good chuckle out of it, though. But so how does the intro for
what a douche?
You were supposed to continue, Sam.
Oh.
And then there's a crash, and there's
what a douche.
Sorry. I'll have the fixed by next time.
Yeah, okay. The douche of this week is a little different than our normal subjects. This guy is a douche because I'm a little jealous. This guy Michigan man has won $4 million on the lottery from a scratch card. Again. He has...
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Southeastern Michigan guy has won a $4 million lottery game for the second time. His late father gave him a coin about 10 years ago. And a couple years after he received that coin, he scratched off a scratch ticket, won $4 million. And he's taken his lucky coin and got the exact same scratch tickets. There must be a certain scratch ticket that he likes, whether it's like, I always like those crosswords just because they're a time killer. You get like a $2 crossword deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy has a special coin, like his lucky coin.
Well, you're making it all sentimental and shit, and I don't know if I want to call him a douche.
I do.
Well, did it say how much he spends on scratch tickets?
No,
every year?
but they did have
it's a fuckload.
They did have a quote.
$4 million.
Yeah, he's actually negative still at this point.
Yeah, he spent $2.8 million on scratch tickets, took the lump sum of 2.5. So yeah, but. They do have a quote from the guy, and he said, "I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, but everything's looking pretty good right now." So this guy obviously does not handle having.
I bet he's
won a $4 million lottery
problem. But good for him.
You think?
Hell, he's won $8 million. Good for him. I hope it makes his life better.
You think he's gonna keep buying them? He's like,
shit,
I did it twice. Maybe I can make another $4 million.
I guarantee he does.
Oh yeah.
He's and he's not gonna do it until the next time, or until he runs out of this $8 million.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see though, like what he actually does with that money, because there's been studies done that say the majority of people that win the lottery actually wish that they had never won it.
I think statistically, winning the lottery is like the worst thing that could have happened to you.
Right.
Well, the majority, most people that play the lottery, and there's nothing wrong with it. I get a scratch ticket every now and then, not very often, but every now and then a
couple times a year, maybe
not even that, but for me, but the majority of people that play them religiously are probably generally, the lower class, not very educated,
don't
smart,
have a lot of spare cash.
Exactly.
Could be spending.
So when they win all that money, what do they do with
it?
They go out and buy 2 Corvettes and hookers and cocaine. Did you see that one interview? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if you win this? Hookers and cocaine.
Yeah.
That dude is awesome.
Legend.
This reminds me of when I was, I think I was still 19 years old working construction, and we were in Casey's or something getting breakfast, or for a break or something like that, and there was this lady in front of us getting scratch off tickets, and she couldn't afford it or something, or I don't know, but I remember her saying, "Oh, good, because this is the last $7 I have for the week," and it was Tuesday. I'm like, bitch, what are you doing spending your last $7 on a scratch off ticket
on a Tuesday?
You think this is where you're gonna be, where you
dude,
make it big?
Some people, they just don't have
buy a loaf of bread and some cheese maybe, so you can eat something.
Okay. You can a
Fine.
lot of grilled cheese for
$7.
$7.
You can make grilled cheese for at least a week.
Damn
with
right.
$7.
Damn right. I still eat grilled cheese all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's like a 40-cent meal. Why wouldn't you?
Damn right.
Cheese, delicious.
Oh, well, fellas, this has been a fun. We've never had a Monday episode before, I don't believe, unless we did it on a holiday, but I don't believe.
I don't
I don't know
we've
why
ever
we would have
done
done one on a holiday.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. But it was a fun one, guys. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you guys coming in. And, yeah, I guess.
Shoot us your ideas for what you guys want to do for a get-together.
We'll probably talk about it actually in the group. I'm sure that's where we talk about things. We get together, you know.
So Facebook.com.
So jump in there.
Yeah,
Find
check
our
out
group,
the Life Short
Life
Live
Short, Live
Free
Free.
Facebook group. It's,
Yeah. Not only do we have a page on Facebook, we also have a group where we talk
about
about a lot of shenanigans.
A lot of people confuse the two, and they end up posting on the Life Short Live Free wall where no one sees it, rather than in the group. So don't do that. Go in the Life Short Live Free group, post in there, and we'll all chat about it.
Yeah.
Also, or make fun of you. Either way.
Yeah.
So make sure you check that out. Also, keep an eye on our Facebook. I know I've been saying it for a while, but I'm very close to having the website live. It's all completed. The merchant, the payment system's all set up and everything. I just got to get some shirts and shit up there. I designed a pretty badass mag that we're gonna throw up there when that goes live. So keep an eye on that.
Box, are you gonna take like some killer photography of like all of our products, or are you just saying
if I get the products, yeah.
If you just take a phone picture and put it on the website, call it good, or what?
Well, if you have the right lighting, yeah, you can take a phone picture.
That's mostly what I do, unless I do something really badass that I want him to photograph. I hate photography, so I'm pretty glad that he does it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, check out Ballistic Imagery on Facebook and Instagram, as well as ballistikimagery.com if you need any photography work done, including nudes. You know, I'm sure he'd be open to that. So, yeah, just let him know.
He'd also like to star in short films, if you know what I mean.
I mean, you can just set up
very short film.
Oh boy! And with that, we're gonna call her a night. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and make sure you jump on and pay attention to our Gears and Beers every other Wednesday night. You guys can jump in on the conversation and have some beers with us. So, anyways, guys, until we talk to you next time, keep on keeping on. We'll get through this shit together. And remember, life's short, live free. God bless, and God bless America.
Fox, you'd have been a sensation on Vine. 7-second videos.
Oh.